to the pod. You might not recognise us because one of us is a little bit more badass.
Sorry, just adjusting my ponytail here.
What's that you've got there, Ailey? What's that?
Same attitudes underneath here.
Flexing my bicep.
Hopefully by this time we've actually posted the picture. The amount of people that have been DMing us going, what did you get? We love to do that. We love to do a wee teaser of we're just going in the tattoo shop and then we ghost.
Silence. We got a tattoo for the audio listeners.
We did
indeed. We got ourselves a little homage to the community that we've built here with the three of us, the three of the guys that do the recording for us, and also all of you at home.
Yes.
We have got a pod mic.
We have a little mic here.
I love that. Mike. That's what we need to call him.
Wee mic. Mine's a wee bit, I've not put any stuff on it.
Are you
How long are we supposed to do that for?
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, Lauren, why are you not getting your arm out? Because you've got gym top on.
Got gym top on.
She's been at gym. She's been training.
She's been going down gym.
I've been training. Training upper today. It is there though. It's here.
Right on the bicep.
Right on the bicep.
Me
Right on
and
the
Lauren
guns.
went for the large.
Yeah.
Ayla went for the
I don't think
small,
mine
but
looks
there's not
that
much of a
different.
difference.
No, it's like literally.
It is though.
It's
think
not.
so.
It is. Hers is 2 times smaller.
This was part of our
sorry.
potluck jar, which we've been doing this month. Well, in
Which-
fact, for the whole year.
Guys, question for you.
Okay.
I'm talking to you guys, but actually I'm talking to the listeners right now.
Okay, sure. Address the audience.
Address the audience here right now. Guys, should we be doing potluck every week or every month?
I think every week. I get sad when I go, oh, it was only
Nothing to
once a
look forward
month.
to.
Yeah, I feel like we just, let's just go kung ho.
Kung ho.
Can we just do it today?
What's going on here?
Oh, Ailey's free arm that has no tats on it is doing something. Yeah, we have done this wee
Shake it.
challenge, our hot girl, hot guy habits, which is a list that we've got with NutriCheck, who we're
that how you
working with
shake
this
it?
month. And on that list is logging all our food on the NutriCheck app. Easy to do.
Super
So
easy to do.
it's also on sale now, so go and get it because you can get the whole year for $26.99. Link in bio.
Perfect.
And then what we're also doing is reading. Have we been reading, girls?
Guys, finished a book last night.
Did you love it?
Loved
What was it?
so incredibly much. It was The Vex King. I can't actually remember,
Good
but
vibes, good life.
Good Vibes,
I've
Good
read it.
Life.
It's
Oh,
amazing.
That's
my
like
God.
I
That's
bought
a
it. Do you
cult
want it?
fave.
Can I just say, girls, as
Let's manifest the shit out of life.
well, it's not. It's more about your vibes. Good vibes. Can I just say, guys,
Good life.
that it talks about surrounding
just
yourself.
a cover.
Guys, do you know what? I'm trying to be nice to you here. And do you know what? Fuck the two of you. I'm not doing it now.
Our vibe is take the piss. What's yours today?
Mine's is cunty.
Clearly. Cunty and late.
Sorry.
I was working out. That's why I was late.
I was
Sorry.
sharing.
Was I late to the point where
Sorry.
you used to were sitting in your seat with your mics all done, ready to go? Was I late?
You weren't
Did
here.
I hold back?
But our vibe and our aura we were trying to give was waiting for you.
Yeah.
You could have started.
We didn't. But anyway, it doesn't matter because the thing is, good vibes, good life. Peace. Vex King is a very good book. I've read it.
It's a great book.
Have you done The Law of Attraction?
No, The Secret.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No.
I've done the first one.
Don't like it. I don't like a book that's not got white pages.
Oh, I quite like it. It makes me feel very cultured.
No,
and
it's like
evolved.
drinking out of a coffee mug that's black inside.
What
What
colour are the
season's mug?
pages?
What?
What colour are the pages?
It's meant to look script.
Oh no,
It's
not.
like
Wee bit
tea stained.
brown.
Oh,
Tea
yeah.
stained.
I actually want to get a book, and I don't know about you guys, right? But
I read the book.
I've been
You're at the
reading.
club.
What have
I've
you
been
read?
starting reading that thing that you gave me, the housemaid. But I have to say, I just feel like my genre sometimes can be a wee bit different.
What's your genre?
I love an autobiography. First of all, right? What?
It's giving going on holiday W.H. Smith's
That
half
is
price.
exactly why. That is exactly why.
That's what it
That's
is.
how I always used to read, was an autobiography on holiday. And
Who would be your ideal autobiography to read right now?
well, the one that I'm going to read this week is
Our wrist just
it did.
Mr. Burns.
Fooled Earth, right? Sorry about that. There's a book that's just come out, right? Not to kill the vibe because you're on good vibes, good life, whatever
I'm
it's called.
totally on my high energy.
This one
Me too.
is Shari Frankie. Do you know who that is?
No.
So you know Ruby Frankie?
It's her sister.
No, it's her daughter.
Who's Ruby Frankie?
Ruby Frankie is the vlogger, the YouTuber vlogger,
Just been given
Mormon
60 years.
mum who had 8 passengers YouTube channel, and then she got like basically into a cult with
Yes.
Jodie Hildebrandt, who was like the head of this cult. I can't remember what the name of it was, but they basically then got their house raided by police, and she was like really badly abusing the
Using her
children.
kids.
Why?
But
You know
Lauren,
what?
no, Lauren, she had them handcuffed to their bed
Oh,
and all
it's
that so that she could leave the
mad.
house. It was
It is.
awful. Her son disrespected her rules, right? And instead of just being like, right, well, you're not getting your Xbox for the day or whatever, do you know what she took off him? And vlogged it. He's getting one of his basic privileges removed. She took his bed away.
for 8 months.
8 months that boy
8
slept on the floor.
months?
Yeah.
That boy slept on the floor for 8 months.
It is
And she let the
so
world
bizarre.
know on YouTube. She let the world know. It was
That's
honestly
one of these parents
the
looking for
sickest people.
praise for being like a strict mum,
Yep.
enforcing rules and stuff. And actually, how did she get away with that for so long if she was actually putting that out on
I know.
YouTube? Like,
But
how
people
did she get away with that?
disgusting.
People were complaining for a long time and nobody was doing anything about it. And then I don't know how it happened, right? But that Jodie Hildebrandt, who was she was like a parenting expert. She would call herself in as like a super nanny type thing. But she obviously took advantage of the fact that Ruby was already happy to be mean to her kids.
I still
and
struggle to work
made
out
it
how
extreme.
super nanny can be such a super nanny when she's actually never experienced being a mother.
But so
Good on
this Shari Frankie is the oldest daughter, right? So she's now an adult. She's in her 20s, and she's basically wrote this autobiography talking about the whole thing and like being a child vlogger, because they were literally every single day of their life was vlogged, and the mum used to really like, oh, it was awful. But
I
see
think
stuff like
that's
that.
upsetting to watch
It
it.
is.
I think that's
the
going to
thing.
give you really low vibes, and I think that's going to make you really depressed.
Not
and I
give a
don't
good
know
life.
if I'm a strong vibe enough person yet to keep you going.
Oh my god, you're trying to hold up her vibe and your own.
I won't be able to with
Your
that
back
book.
will be broken.
Yeah, I love just a wee book like that, because I know that I followed the story already on
Yeah.
TikTok, so I feel like I would find it really interesting to read her
And
point of
here's
view.
the other thing as well, you do want to kind of fund into that. It's like if she's making money from the book, because she deserves to have,
Yeah.
like, she deserves the money off the back of the success of that book, because she
Where
had
did all the
such a
other
terrible
kids?
time.
Oh, they're all in care and all
No,
over
I
the
thought
place.
the uncle was meant to have taken them, the uncle and the auntie. Remember the ones that tried to take them initially?
No, they
I thought
don't
that
have.
they got some kind of care over them.
They don't have any like that. The auntie, there's a big question mark on her as well.
So scary, honestly.
Oh, it's
but
actually
that's what
brutal,
you're
by
reading
the
now.
way.
So you're reading
That's what I'm going to read. That's what I'm
Have
going
you
to
not
read.
ordered it yet?
I'm giving up on the one that I was on before.
The Handmaid, the Housemaid.
Handmaid's Tale would be a good one for me.
Oh my god.
That is a book.
yeah.
The actual book,
Yeah,
yeah.
Under his eye.
Under his, I loved that. Remember, we were really into
We were
it.
really into it to the point where we couldn't even say hello to each other.
It was.
What was it again?
Bless-
Under his eye. Blessed be the fruit.
Blessed be the fruit.
Blessed be the fruit under his eye.
I was fully obsessed with it. I literally have never been so into a series in my life.
Do you want a good series?
What?
It's called Confession. It's on Netflix. It's got Martin Freeman in it. Is that his name? And it's all about the true story of the murder of Sharon O'Callaghan and Becky. Oh, Goodwill
Breaky Hill.
Ethelson. This isn't a joking matter.
Okay, sorry.
Fucking hell.
What?
It's real. It's
She's
really
talking
good.
about somebody that's been murdered, and you're like, Becky Hill, eh?
Guess what? Good vibes, good life. Just trying to bring the beat up, guys.
Do you know what? It's really thingy, but
Why, thank you. I love when things are pure hangy as well.
Can't wait for your vocab to pick up when you start reading.
terrifying. That's really what I'm trying to do.
It's
Listen,
really thingy.
you've got a good couple of years on the vocabulary on me. So
See if this
That's
doesn't make
how-
a social clip, I will be fuming. It's really hangy. Oh, I love how you can't wait for your vocab to pick up once you start reading.
I've read loads.
Such a reader.
I am such a reader.
Such a reader. Oh God, guys, that's so
I
funny.
tried to download Audible as well, and what?
Audible.
some extra letters in there.
What's
Audible.
Audible, but with some spice. Audible. I love this today. I love that we do this. Team X King, Good Vibes, Good Life has got no patch on this.
Oh.
The vibes are on the pod. That is so funny.
Good vibes, good life on the pod.
So your series that you're recommending could be a walking one. You
Oh,
could
yeah.
if you've got a
Audible.
treadmill.
Audibly.
Audible. I actually think the walking pad might be on sale. See if it is. Go and check our stories and we'll share the link for it.
Yes. The walking pad's a great thing.
It's so good. And see if you get bored when you're out for a walk, which is me. I sometimes go, I don't want to go out for a walk myself, so I get a wee bit bored.
It's too cold.
Just walk inside, get your 10k steps in. If you can't be arsed exercising, which I do think sometimes you need to be in the right mindset for it, just do walking. Just go 10k steps.
My gran, right, is
You'll
the
never
trimmest.
regret a workout.
My gran is honestly the trimmest wee person you've ever met, and it's all the walking.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Yep.
She walks dogs that are not her own because the walking is the thing. I've obviously got dogs and I do take them out, but a walk with them versus a walk myself is two different things.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like stopping constantly. They want a sniff. Like I want to just literally get on the way.
Yeah.
And actually, I tested out the walking and reading thing. It's fine.
What, reading on a book?
I can read the book and walk at the same time.
What?
So I'm hitting my 2 hot girl habits. In
Outside or in the house?
Oh, in the house. I'm not a weirdo.
Could you imagine just seeing Ash roaming a field with a big book?
Sorry, why is that like trying to be a main character? That's literally like tuck the hair behind the ears. Like I'm so mysterious.
There's
Suddenly
something
the
quite
picnic
like
gets placed down and the wicker basket comes out.
That's quite haunting, by the way. If you looked out and you saw someone reading and walking, you'd be like, I've just saw a ghost. There's no way that's really.
There's no way that. But why can we see everyone on their phone and think nothing of it?
I don't know.
Well, that's true, but that is a very, very good link in there, really.
Yeah.
To
what's happening today?
Our little guest
that's coming.
Our big guest, actually. We're having Sarah from I'm the Problem on TikTok, who we've actually discussed many times on the pods.
Ability to actually keep me on track for.
Oh yeah, she's a good storyteller.
She told us that TikTok only allows you to record up to 10 minutes and that most of her videos are that long. I cannot believe it.
Makes sense.
So her unit of measurement of time on her videos versus reality, they're not the same thing.
No.
I could watch a 10-minute video she puts on and it feels no longer than 2 and I want more.
Which is good because last week we spoke about the Epping Forest stories that we'd heard. And we're going to get to ask her some questions about it and get some more gossip.
Get some goss, see what she thinks about the whole thing. So
let's tune in.
Swap it on.
Let's do it. So we are joined by Miss Sarah. I'm the Problem. Hey! Thanks so much for coming on the pod, Sarah.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
We're obsessed, aren't we?
We are
obsessed. It's so true what they say. We've actually looked through some of your comments on TikTok, which if anyone's not following you, it's I'm the Problem. And all your comments on your recent videos are all like, as soon as she says the sentence, I've got another story about Epping Forest. I'm locked. I'm loaded. I've got my tea and I've got my snacks. Tell the story.
I've got such a short attention span, right? And see any other TikTok, if it's maybe... I give it 5 seconds and I'm like, done, let me see something else. I'll sit and listen to every single story, every word of it. It's so good. I love the Epping
Something about the way you tell a story is unreal.
Yeah.
Like, we're hooked.
Oh my God, that's so nice. Thank you. It's really weird, isn't it? Because like when you're in person talking to somebody, no one's going to leave you live feedback. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I love the way you tell a story.
No, it's like hooked in.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Isn't it weird, like modern life, like storytelling and whatnot is an actual thing? It's crazy.
I know, so true. I think that's the thing. It's like the way you tell a story is you can't I can't even explain it. You kind of just get the... What's the word I'm looking for?
When you're telling it personal.
But even when you're telling something that's scary, you start to speed up a little bit. So then I'm like, oh my God, what's happening next? Like you're very, very good at storytelling, which actually in itself is like, that's like a talent. The way you're able to tell something that could be such a normal story and then all of us are just hooked into it. It's amazing.
Your kids must love bedtime. I bet they're just sitting hooked. They won't sleep because they want to know what happens next.
Yeah, they do. But you know what? They're like such little mini me's. So normally it's the other way around, like they're fighting to tell each other, like, oh my God, and then today this happened, and then guess what? This is the sad part, sit down for this. And then they're like, Mummy, and then this, and then this, and then this. And so I don't get a word in edgeways with them. Like they're the star of the show, telling me their little stories.
Yeah. So the first one that kind of, I think, went more viral, that kind of caught my attention, was the story about the couch. Is that right? A sofa story? That was the first one where I
Yeah.
kind of seen like there was like part 1, part 2, and it's like everyone's following along. What would you say has been like the tipping point for you on TikTok where you were like, wow, everyone's really starting to like pay attention and follow my channel?
It all happened really quick. There wasn't like I was posting and it slowly went up. It was like we had maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks of posting, and that I think that was like the 4th video that I posted knowing that what I was intending to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like we had like a series, and that one just blew up. So there wasn't even time to think of it. It was like, oh, that happened a lot quicker than it's so weird. Your brain can't even comprehend it. And I think even now I don't actually know when people say like, oh my God, 40 million views, like that's a lot. My brain can't even comprehend what that looks like.
And it's the shares as well. Like I always think like if we've ever got a video that's went quite viral, it's watching how many people have then shared that to someone else. It's like watching real life gossiping happening right in front of your eyes.
So true. Oh my God, it's so true. Yeah. I said this literally to a mum at the school today. She was like, oh, it must be weird, because she was like, oh, one of my friends just said that she watches your TikToks, and like I've just put 2 and 2 together that I see you every day. And she was like, that must be so weird. And I said, yeah, it's good and it's bad in a way, because it's like you kind of get a sense of like what fame would be like.
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound that really cringe, but like you do in a sense, but you get it, but your life is still so normal, and like your income is still so normal.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you have all the weird like people knowing random stuff about you,
Yeah.
but you're not aware of it because you're still
living a normal life.
Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but like where I am a mum and I don't have much free time, I'm not like out in places that are new where people would be coming over to me. So I really don't see any difference in my normal regular life.
Yeah, unless you're at the shops or something and then someone comes over. It's funny because individually we've had like Instagrams before we started the podcast and before the podcast became kind of what it is now. But people find it easier, I think, to come over to us and say, I listen to your podcast because it's 3 of us, than to come over and say, I watch your TikTok. So you might find actually there's more people that would normally have approached you if you were with someone else, if you know what I mean. But it's weird to come up to you individually. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, do you know what? I bet you this is why they come up to you as a 3. In the beginning, so like when I had blonde hair, if I wore my hair the way that I wore it in a video, I would get people come up to me and say, oh, I watched that video.
Yeah.
But even a difference in having your hair up, if they didn't watch that specific viral video, they don't recognise you.
Yeah.
They'll go home probably and go, now I recognise who that is, but at the time they can't click that it's someone they've seen on their phone.
Yeah.
What I love about your stuff now, actually, and I think sometimes when you are getting that popular online, it's almost like you don't want to put too much of your own personal stories out because you then get the backlash of that because it's directly to you. Whereas now what you're doing is you're telling other people's stories. So you kind of get the enjoyment of that story being big and it going viral or whatever without it ever coming back to you because it's like it's someone else's story, like the Epping Forest stories, for example. Like they're other people's, even like us with the pod, it's quite similar because a lot of the stories we get in are from other people. So there's never that kind of backlash. But what would you say has been like your most crazy, what is Epping Forest to begin with? What is this place? Is it in Essex?
So yeah, Epping Forest is just like a massive forest. So it's like 12 miles long, I think.
Right.
So it's fairly big and it stretches from like, I think it's East London, like Chinkford. I think that's considered East London. I'm not great with geography, don't come for me. But it stretches from like one side of Essex to the other side, basically. Well, this side of Essex, I don't know. But it's like, quite long. And when I was younger, when I was like, I think when I was born, that was the house that my mum and dad took me home to. But anyway, we lived in a house that bordered Epping Forest. We lived in a place called Buckers Hill, and it was a brand new house, so like no history to it. And it was the first place that like my mum and dad had bought together. And my mum was quite young. I think she was like 27. So it was like the first place she'd lived without her mum and dad or whatever, just her and my dad. And she started to like see things, hear things, and she just didn't want my dad to think that she was being weird. Like, oh yeah, okay. So she put it down to the fact that maybe it was because she was in a house on her own, like it's her first big girl house or whatever. And then after she had me, and my mum and dad were like both not working for a little bit, like spending some time like in earlier on like weeknights or whatever, she said to my dad one night, like, do you hear that noise? And he was still awake, and he said, yeah, I can hear it. And she was like, does it sound like somebody's trying to get into the house? And he said, yeah, it does. And he said, I hear it a lot. I hear it a lot. And she said, me too. And she started crying. And then they had this big discussion. My dad went downstairs. There was nothing there. But there was other nights when they went downstairs and like plant pots had been smashed. All of the pictures were off the walls. Like just some really horrible stuff. Like there was like a slender man looking guy running around the house. They were outside with the lights on. They like called the police and stuff. My mum was at home alone once with me when I was really small, like 3-4 months old, and my dad worked in East London at the time. And there was a knock at the door, and our garden was just Epping Forest. Like we didn't have fences, nothing. It was just the abyss. So like you couldn't see anything. And my mum had a knock on the door, and it was a policeman. And he, obviously in those days you didn't have mobiles. It was just like your landline. And they knocked, and he was like, can I use your phone? And my mum like was like, yeah, okay. And he was like, I'm going to need you to open the door to pass it out. Is that okay? And my mum was like, yeah. And then as she kind of like went back a bit, she was like, I don't think I should be doing this. Like, I don't feel like this is right. So she just called out of the letterbox and said, I'm going to pass it out of the letterbox. And he said, no. And she was like, okay, no, something's wrong. So she called my dad, and my dad came straight home. And from that point, the haunting got really bad. And then recently, I haven't posted much about my childhood home. I've just told other people's stories. And then recently, loads of people have been commenting saying, oh, like my mum was home alone, a policeman came and knocked, that like they asked to use the phone, and then they declined, and then after that our house was haunted. And it's also been on ghost hunts.
No.
And so yes, so this is like, well, no, but my mum and dad had no idea. They just thought that they were unlucky that their house was this way. So yeah, it's all linked. Anyway, in the end, my mum got so freaked out that she had paranormal investigators come to the house.
I don't bloody blame her.
I know, I would have had the priests and everything over. We would have had a full exorcism in that house.
It got to the point where like my older brother and sister as well, so like my half brother and sister, they were supposed to come and stay with us on the weekends. And my older brother just got to the point where he was like, Dad, it's just so scary at your house. Like there is a man sitting at the bottom of my bed. Like there's an old woman that's like tapping on the windows when I'm like sitting on my Game Boy or whatever it was. And he was like, I just don't want to be in that house anymore. Like I will come and see me elsewhere. Like I'm not coming back. And so at that point, my mum and dad were like, well, if our kids are not going to come, then we need to move. But before they moved, they got paranormal investigators round. So we still have like the big print up, says like the house name and everything. And then they just documented so much stuff that they found. And 3 months later, the guy whose business it was, he died.
Oh my God.
Right, dead. Because my mum then tried to ring them back and be like, okay, like what should we do? Like we want to sell the house. Like do we declare it? And his wife was like, yeah, no, he's died.
Because he was going to expose whatever the ghost was.
I don't know. It's so scary. So yeah, from that point, I was just really interested in Epping Forest. Never shared our experience because I was like, it just looks like I'm just this girl with all these stupid, crazy stories. Plus, I don't remember any of this. Like and my mum and dad are very logical people, by the way. They're not like ghost hunters. I don't remember any of this, but I was interested in it. So I was like, got sent a few stories about Epping Forest, and I knew that my mum and dad had already had this experience.
But you hadn't said this online yet, just to put it out. You hadn't told this story.
Not about Epping Forest. I had told a story where like my mum had thought our house was haunted, and like I was very kind of neutral about it. I was like, I don't know if I've never experienced anything like kind of blasé about it. But I do remember having a conversation with my friend, because this was like a cottage style house. It was new built, but it was like style, and it'd been divided, but it shared this middle wall. And like I think after a few years of living there, because where they put the fireplace, you could hear next door. So my mum and dad and the next door neighbours were like, let's get that boarded up because we don't use our fireplace. And it's like, if they're arguing next door, or we're having a loud conversation, having a party, whatever, you can hear it. And they both had young children, so they got it boarded up. And then a little boy moved next door. So it was a little girl, and then it was a little boy moved next door. And I was sitting talking to my friend Josh. I thought I was talking to my friend Josh, and I remember the pajamas that he's wearing, because you used to be able to see through the fireplace. And it wasn't until like years later I was like, oh, I'll never forget like Josh's pajamas, because I just watched that really horrible film, you know, the boy with the striped pajamas.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my god, pajamas remind me of Josh's pajamas. Like, now thinking about it, like, oh my god. And my mum was like, oh yeah, like, when would you have seen Josh's pajamas? And I said, well, I used to talk to him through the fireplace. And she was like, no, because the fireplace got shut off when Olivia, the little girl that lived there, she was living there, so you would never have been able to see him. But I know for a fact I was sitting in front of that fireplace talking to this little boy in these old-fashioned striped pajamas, and that was the first time I realised, like, oh, maybe I had those experiences, but I just thought it was my friend.
Because that's what they say with ghosts. They say younger children, they're more likely to see ghosts because they're not scared. They're not going to run away or whatever. They'll just chat. That's terrifying.
Scary.
So you don't know to be scared, because to me that was just like my friend, and it wasn't until years later. So I told that story on TikTok, but I never said it was Epping Forest. So it was interesting when I started getting sent these things that I was like, oh my god,
what a weird coincidence of all the people that follow you, that then all that stuff comes back. And so you've actually, so this is like an exclusive then. You've not told that story about how your house was in Epping Forest, and that whole, like,
No,
you're the first to know that. How cool is that?
That is
Insider.
mental.
Insider knowledge, we love it.
Have you ever been to a psychic as an adult? Have you been to a psychic before?
I've been to like a group setting psychic. I think we went like twice. There was somebody who comes near where we live. Me, my sisters, and my mum went, but it was like a group setting. But my mum's one of those people that if there's a big audience and you're at something like that, they will beeline for her.
Yeah. Lucky mum.
I could like have my hand up and they'll fully ignore me, but like they'll beeline for her. So yeah, that's the only time I've been to a psychic. I've never been one-to-one with a psychic
And
before.
what did they say to your mum? Did they bring anything up about the house or anything like that?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did straight away. Yeah.
That's so
Oh, that
weird.
is mad.
Do you know, it's funny, the only time I've ever heard a story of seeing a ghost, if that's what we're calling it, right, or a person, was my dad is such a cynic. Like, we could tell, even our stories just now, he'll be like, oh, there's a reason for that. He always is that kind of person, right? But I think that gives us more credibility. So my great grandpa died. He fell out the attic and he died on the stairs. But whenever that happens, you know that the family have to clear that up. I think you could obviously get a team in now.
Yeah.
This was like more than 20 years ago. So he died on the stairs and they had to go and clean up and like redo the house and stuff so that they could sell it and paint it and all this kind of stuff. And he said that there was a time where he went to look up the stairs, my dad did, and he looked up and round the corner of this, it's almost like a wall that would take you up the stairs. It was enclosed, so it wasn't like a banister. When he looked, my great grandpa did that and looked round and went,
that's what they do,
and
yeah,
said peek. But he wasn't like the way that he died as. He was younger, so he had like dark hair, big thick glasses. He had like, you know, like what do you call them again? Like braces on his trousers. And that's, my dad laughed and was like, oh my God, that's exactly how he used to play with us when we were younger. So freaky. And he's like, he actually, do you know what? We weren't there when it happened, but the house isn't far from where we live. So he drove down the road, came in the house. He was sheet white. He was shaking. And Mum was like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, I've just seen him. And seen who? I've just seen my grandpa. And it was the weirdest thing ever. That's the only time I've ever heard someone's story about actually physically seeing someone and truly believing the story, because he wouldn't make that up. Like, he doesn't believe in anything.
Did the paranormal investigators that came out, did they give any explanation of who the ghosts were and what they wanted and why a policeman was trying to get in the house?
No, but I don't think that it was necessarily a person. I don't think it's like somebody who has passed. I don't think it was like a person who was an actual human.
Oh my God, do you think it's demonic? Oh God.
Yes. But the vibes that I'm getting from like everybody's stories and like what I'm reading that people are sending, it's pretty clear that it's not people that have passed. It is more like these things like a lot of the stories that I'm reading, they're describing like shadow people, and like now that I'm more open to things, and I don't know about you, but like when you are more open to things, I don't know if it's your brain just connecting dots and leading you down a path that it wants and giving you that outcome. But now that I'm more open to it, I definitely feel like I can feel the difference between it being a person or being a thing.
Yep. Oh my God, that's so creepy, isn't it? So creepy. So Epping Forest, a lot of the ones that sort of tie together, especially like you're saying about the policeman coming to the door story. There's been a lot of people having similar things that haven't discussed it between them. So it's like more than coincidence. Do you know what I mean? There's also quite a lot of stories that you tell, and it'll be like a woman's voice calling for help. And then people phoning the police saying there's someone calling for help, and then there's no one there. So have you got any of those kind of stories you can maybe tell that stick out in your head?
Yeah, there's a few that are just well known, like stories of Epping Forest. So there's one where there's a couple who are meeting up. This is like 300-400 years ago, I think. And the dad had specifically said to his daughter, like, I don't want you to marry this person. And so you can't, obviously, in those days, you can't go on dates with them. So, like, you're forbidden from seeing this person. And then she sneaks out in the middle of the night and goes to meet him at this particular place. And it used to be called, like, Lover's Meet or something like that. But now it's been renamed. So they would go and meet there. And then this one night, the dad follows the daughter and he sees her with this guy. And so he goes mad and he drowns them both. And then, yeah, and then a lot of police reports, just like people that walk past will hear couples, what they thought was like a couple rowing, because they hear the female and they hear the male, but actually a lot of people are saying it's like residual energy from what happened and like their failure to actually pass. It's like the dad and the man and the daughter like all shouting at each other. But there's been lots of deaths, mysterious deaths marked as suicide in that particular pond. And so now it's called Suicide Pond, but no one will tell you where it is.
Oh, well, wait. Oh, can you tell the story about the son who was playing with someone and wandered off, and then the dad went to find him and he was soaking wet?
So that's the same pond. So basically, there's a woman, and I mean, to my knowledge, the only version of it that I've ever heard is that the girl that wears the white, she's apparently like in a nightie, people seeing her in a nightie. I think that that's the girl that goes out to meet the boyfriend and then is drowned by her dad.
Yeah.
So basically, there's a few places, because I've been to the Suicide Pond. It's just like full of tar. It's not water.
Right.
Yeah, and it's fairly close to a few different like pubs and stuff, but you wouldn't necessarily know where to find it because it's not like signposted or whatever. So there was a family party. This is somebody who sent me this. They were having a family party at this really nice pub. It was like a 40th birthday party, and the children were out playing. There's like literally like a football pitch size amount of grass. So like it's flat, you can see it, but then it's bordered by the forest, and then the pub's here. So you've got like perfect view basically. So the adults are in the pub having a nice time, and they're like, you can go and play football, whatever. These kids are small kids, so it's not like you take your eye off them for a second and they're going to have been able to go this massive distance, because you basically like got perfect vision. So a few of these cousins, I can't remember how many there were in the story, but they go out and they're playing football, and there's an older cousin and she's supposed to be taking care of them, and she's like doing a quick head count every now and then. And then at some point the boys want to stay and play football out on this pitch, and the girls come running back like they've had a little bit of a to-do. One of them wants the older cousin to tie her shoelaces, so she's like bending down tying the shoelaces, and when she looks back up she does a quick head count and she's like, there's one missing. There's definitely one missing. And she's like, I know for a fact that it could only have been like 20 seconds. And she's like looking for this specific, I can't remember if it's Arsenal or Tottenham kit, but this little boy is in a football kit, and she only sees one little boy now in a football kit. It's his brother. And she's like, what the hell? Like, she's panicking. And at this pub, they have a pool as well. So straight away, she runs to the pool and she's like, okay, no, there's nobody in there. Brilliant. Okay, so she runs up, she tells all the adults. And then for the next like 20 minutes, the adults are like at absolute mayhem. They're like looking behind the bar. They're looking in every one of the toilets. They go down to the basement. They're like asking the people outside the front of the pub that just like having their meals or whatever. They're like, did you see this child? And everyone's saying the same thing. Like, yeah, there was two little boys in a football kit, and then there was a girl in white. and like we don't know where the girl in the white's gone, and we don't know where the little one in the football kit has gone. So now they're like, okay, so there's 2 kids missing. There's this little blonde girl and there's this boy in the football kit. And it just so happened that the big brother was wearing the same football kit. So now everyone at the pub's like, right, we're looking for this, like the small version of this, basically. So they're like running around, running around, and then everybody else at the pub is like, the adults are like, yeah, I didn't see, like the family, I didn't see them playing with this blonde girl, but all the kids are like, yeah, we definitely saw that. But they're asking all of the other adults, they're like, do you have a little blonde girl with you? Because you're essentially in the middle of a forest, and then you've got like main roads. So if a child is there, they've been brought there.
Yeah.
Because there's no one that lives in that area. It's not like you're going to wander from your back garden, really. It's a fair walk. So then a few of the uncles, I think it was uncles or cousins, they run into the forest. At this point, they've called the police because they're like, there's actually no way that this child has gone missing of their own accord now. Like, there's just no way these tiny little legs could have carried him far enough in any direction that we wouldn't have seen. And there's a car park, so now they're all thinking somebody in a car has passed by. Like, there's no other.
Worst nightmare.
Yeah, worst nightmare. So one of the uncles has run into the woods and he's like screaming this kid's name, and then eventually he hears the kid crying and he grabs him and he's soaking wet. He's got no shoes on him, his football socks soaking wet, but no mud on the bottoms of his feet. I don't need to say that in the TikTok because you only get like 9 minutes, but no mud on the bottoms of his feet, no shoes, but socks are soaking wet. So he like carries him back and he runs and he tells everybody they found him or whatever, and at that point the police are there. But even the police, when the uncle says where he found him, are just like how did this kid get that far? Like, that would have taken an adult. Like, that had taken the guy that had run like 15 minutes. Like, he left as soon as the kid went missing, and he's only just found him. Even the police like don't know how it's happened. But this kid is obviously, I can't remember how old they said he was. I think 5, 6. So he's old enough to know if somebody abducted him. Anyway, this kid's recollection, I think she said her cousin now is like in his 20s. To his memory, he was playing football with this little girl. Older brother also remembers the little girl being there. The little girl says, do you want to come back to my house? We can go swimming. I've got a pool. My dad set up a pool. And he's like, yeah, okay. And he follows this little girl. But at some point, he feels like he's been walking for like 2 minutes. But then at some point, he's like, actually, I probably should have told my mum and dad where I was going. And so he panics, he starts crying, and he starts running in the opposite direction. And that's when he hears his uncle. So to the little boy, he's been walking for like 2 minutes. Like, how has he got 15 minutes into the forest? Can't remember how he got wet. No recollection of why he would be wet. He just can't remember. Yeah. And he said, like, the next thing he remembers, like when he tells the story now, is that I just remember my mum screaming, my dad shouting, the police like wanting to ask questions, and then my mum putting me under the hairdryer at the pub, and then being like, what happened? Why are you wet? Did you get in the pool? And then like the water didn't smell like pool water, so they were like, he's fallen over, but he's not muddy.
Oh, even the fact that he's been walking in the forest and his feet weren't dirty is the weirdest thing ever.
Like, where are his shoes?
Where are his shoes?
Why have you got no shoes on?
Oh, that's so
Do you not
weird.
think it sounds like all of these stories, it's the similar thing? It's almost as if it's one like spirit that is going in loads of different forms to try and trick people. That going is in like an old lady's voice, and the it's almost like to make themselves look vulnerable, or to be like, I'm a policeman so that you'll let me in. That's the scariest thing about it. Weird. It's not like it's a ghost of one person. It's somebody that's just trying to trick people.
Yeah, so strange.
That's terrifying.
I know. And the weird thing is, like, I like to have like not like scientific fact, but like I like an article to back something up. But it's really difficult when you're dealing with like actual crimes that happen in certain respects. But if you Google disappearances and you Google deaths just surrounding Epping Forest, the amount of deaths that have just been drowning, like just people who seemingly wouldn't even know where Epping Forest was. Why did they go?
It sounds like a horrible place. Like, it just sounds like the minute you walk in, there's like a big...
I kind of want to go.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go.
Do you know what? It's so nice there. I've been, we've been probably twice since I've been doing the Epping Forest stories, and it's it's lovely.
So
it's
you don't feel like an energy shift or anything like that when you go, or like even when you get to like the suicide pond and stuff, you don't feel like there's a difference there?
I wouldn't go. So I've not been there since I was like maybe 16, 17. I wouldn't go there.
Right.
No way, anywhere near there. But this is like with my kids. So we've done like popular walking trails and like just nice little areas. And there's definitely not that I have picked up on, but again, I don't know if I'm the sort of person that would pick up on the negative straight away. There's definitely areas. I went with my mum and dad because I wanted the people that own my old house, I wanted to ask them, like, have you ever had anything happen? Just like for my mum and dad, especially because I think it's been so many years where mainly just me and some of my brothers just take the mick out of them.
Wait a minute, some of your brothers, how many brothers and sisters have you got?
There's 8 of us.
Oh my
That is so cool. 8. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've seen your sisters because you're all gorgeous. You're all like carbon
Actual
copies of each other.
models.
But I never knew you had brothers as well. There's 8 of you. Oh my God. So your mum and dad get like the absolute piss taken out of them all the time for this?
All the time. And so like more for them, now that I'm like reading all these stories, I'm like, oh my God, actually, like, you're probably not crazy. Like, it probably did happen.
Yeah.
And whether it's like a ley line, whether it's like, because there's other explanations for things like that. I just wanted to know if they had any experiences, but it's not a house anymore. It's been like made into flats, I think. So we walked down there on one of these like little, when we went to visit, and even walking up to the house, it felt different. But I didn't go any closer. I just said, because I had my kids with me, I was like, do you know what? I've changed my mind. I just want to go back.
Yeah.
Something was telling
And
you.
straight away, it was like the sun came out. It was really weird. And it was like, oh my God, I can't. I even just standing looking at that house, I think, how did my mum live there as a new mum? It wouldn't be a bit of me.
Creepy. Have you had any stories about Scotland? Any creepy stories from here?
Yeah, I did have one.
Did you? What was it? Can you
no,
remember?
to be fair, I've had a few, but I have one that I remember because I made a video about it. So there was one that was a lady, I feel like she was from like Newcastle or something like that, but she had to work in Scotland, and she was like, I'm really used to working in Scotland. I'm not scared to stay on my own. Like, I'm really used to this sort of thing. And actually, this was going to be a good one because some of my other colleagues were going. It was like a company event. Anyway, she's like very particular on what room she has. So it's Aberdeen, I think. She's really particular on when she travels, like what room she will have. So she said to like her PA, she said, make sure you get me ground floor room. I don't want to be like going up and down the stairs. I don't want to do any of that. And she arrives on the day and they're like, we don't have any ground floor rooms, but we have a really nice room. It's on the first floor. Like, you've got a set of steps that are really, really small. And she was like, no, because I've gone above and beyond to make sure I've got a ground floor room. I'm going to dig my heels in. So she causes like a bit of a thing at the front desk. And she's like, I was really embarrassed because I've got like my colleagues behind me. She's like, but things like that just really annoy me. So eventually the guy behind the desk is like, okay, fine, we'll give you a ground floor room. So they give her the keys and she goes in the room and she's like, it's definitely what I wanted. So why did they not want to give it to me? Because originally they were like, oh, we don't have that nice room, but we've got it on the first floor. You can have that. It's like, get what you paid for. And she goes into this room and she's like, it's perfect. Like, why would they have made a problem of that? It doesn't make any sense that they've made a problem of giving her this room. So she's like, the first night I'm really, really tired, and I go into the bathroom. I come out and there's a glass of water on the side. She's like, I don't remember pouring that, but maybe because I've been traveling for a long amount of time, like maybe I'm just tired. And then she goes to do her makeup like a few days later or the same night, I can't remember which it is, but she finds like a man's slipper under the bed, and she's like, the room hasn't been cleaned properly. So she calls and she like fuss about it. She's like, there's this slipper, and the staff are a bit like, oh, like, so sorry, but a bit weird about it, like a little bit weird. Then things out of her makeup bag go missing, and she goes out to like whatever they're doing. She comes back and she comes into her room and she says she can hear like scratching from behind the bed.
Right.
There's a glass of water again, and she starts to think like maybe the hotel do this as like a turn down service.
Oh yeah,
like they'll leave a glass right.
Turn down and a creep out all in one.
Yeah.
So she gets into bed, she's like exhausted, and she can hear like this scratching from behind her head, and she's like, oh my God, I think there's like a rat. Like, this is weird. But the hotel itself is like really old. It's like lovely hotel, but it's been made out of one of these old houses. Anyway, she moves the bed. She sees this like little cubby hole, and she thinks, you know, like with the old houses, sometimes they have like these weird storages, or sometimes you've got like the dumb or whatever. She kind of just assumes it's that. But she can hear this scratching, and it's getting on her nerves, and she's like scared of mice and rats or whatever. So at that point, she kind of hears some people that she knows, like they're walking past her room, going upstairs to bed. And so she comes out, and there's like a group of guys that she knows, and she says, like, will you just come in my room for me, like, and tell me, like, can you hear this noise? So they're like, yeah, okay, come in the room. They're like, yeah, I can definitely hear some sort of scratching. So he's like, okay, give me your phone. And he gets down on his, and he's like looking through the little keyhole, and he looks in, and he just screams. He like drops the phone, he jumps back, smashes his head on the bed, and they're like, what? And he's like, I swear, I know this sounds really stupid, but I feel like I just saw a man's face looking back at me. Like, I just, clear as day, I see this guy's eye staring back at me. And he was like, okay, no, I'm really tired, like, don't worry about like, I'm so sorry for saying that, like, it just took me by surprise. And he's like, honestly, trying to talk this poor woman down, because now she's like, I've got to stay in this room.
I'd be like, nope.
They go and get the staff come up, and they're like, there is definitely nothing behind that. Like, there's absolutely nothing behind that. Like, there's no way there's anybody in there, because it was the dumbwaiter. So it's like the floor below is the basement. Like, that is all sealed off. So there's definitely no man in there, because even if there was a man standing up, you're going to have such a distance. You're not going to see his face. Like, unless this guy's like levitating.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Stop. The way you said that made me feel sick. Unless you can levitate.
Because I'd be like, yeah, he's levitating, babes, he is. So then they leave. She's like laying there, and then she starts to hear somebody saying, help me.
Oh, no.
So it's not just hear someone say, help me. So she's like, no, fuck this. So she gets on her phone, she texts the guys that have just left, and she's like, somebody please. Well, I don't know if she said switch rooms with me, but I am so scared. So the guy that saw the guy, he's like, this is all my fault. Like, I'll switch rooms with you. She's like, fantastic. So the guy comes down, he swaps rooms. He lays there for about 5 minutes, and he can hear, help me. So again, he's like, no way. Like, there's somebody in there, 100%. Like, you need to open that up, because clear as day, I can hear somebody saying, help me. And then he starts to think maybe like his other colleagues, like playing tricks. Anyway, he goes out to the front desk, he tells them, they're like, we don't have any other rooms. So he goes back in that room, and he suffers that through the night. Like, literally, he can hear this guy sobbing, and he's like, this is really weird. The next morning, obviously he's like, I'm not staying in that room again, I've not slept. So they go to the front desk, and they say, have you got any other rooms? And they're like, yeah, we do have other rooms, but they're not that nice. He's like, I'll take whatever you've got. Like, I'll literally take a closet at this point, like anything. So the manager's like, okay, makes a funny face at the woman on reception, and he goes away. And they both see it, and they're like, what was the face about? And she says, well, okay, well, 4 weeks ago, a guy unalived himself in that room. And and we don't really have a policy for this, because it's never happened before. And it was like deemed completely, you know, it was him, whatever. They don't say where he does it, which would be my first question, like, where did he do it exactly in the room? Every member of staff that had gone in to clear the room had heard it. And so they just decided that instead of like trying to get the room already cleared properly, whatever, they'd done like as much as they could, which is why the slipper's under the bed, because no one wanted to stay in there for that long. Rather than do that, they'll just seal that room off for now. They won't rent it out. But obviously, when she's come in kicking up a fuss, they're like, okay.
Oh my God, that's so
The
weird.
way this started out, I thought it was going to be like a really nice, kind ghost. I'll get you a wee glass of water.
Yeah.
You can
Turn you
chill
down.
out. I'll make you nice and
Fluff
comfy.
your pillow.
Never mind scratching the wall and saying, help me. And you'd be scared to even go in that room. If you worked in that hotel, you'd be scared to go in.
Yep.
Oh, no, just point blank refuse.
Yeah,
Sorry.
like you're going to take the energy from it or something. I'd be scared to be around that in case it followed me home. Oh,
Come with.
Oh, it's so
Not
weird.
so-
So that was in Aberdeen. That's so weird, because we stayed in Aberdeen for one of our shows. We do like live shows in Aberdeen. Well, we did one in Aberdeen recently, didn't we? Well, during the summer, actually, not that recent. But weird how that could have been us.
Yeah.
We could have stayed
Please,
in that
for the love of
room.
God, don't welcome that on us, because I couldn't cope.
Would you ever do like any more like in-depth investigation, like you go to Epping Forest and see if you encounter anything like that?
Yeah, I would. I definitely would. So many people ask me this. I definitely would.
Blair Witch style.
I feel like you've got certain people that things would happen to, and I know it probably seems that way because I've got so many crazy stories that it would be me. But I think when it comes to ghosts, I'm so like, come on, please talk to me. That they're like,
she's too desperate. Let's pass her by.
Yeah, you're getting spoke about. They're telling all their other pals, like, yeah, she's up here, pick me. Don't go near her. I think they must get a kick out of going to the ones that are too scared, honestly. I think that's what it is. You need to pure act like you're terrified now.
yeah, they say that like if you do sense anything around you, like for a while, my son was really scared of a ghost in our house, and one of my friends who's like a witch. I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But yeah, she's a witch, and she was like, "Oh, you just pretend fuck off. Like you go in there and you just tell them leave." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, that's probably why they've never wanted to speak to me, because I would actually just see that as a massive inconvenience.
Yeah. I've not got time for this. Fuck off.
Fuck off, ghosts.
Ghost stories to be making. Fuck off. Yeah.
That's so funny. It's weird how you're saying that. We were
Wild.
talking about how kids seem to be way more susceptible to these things. And actually, my little boy, when he was about, I would say maybe like 2 or 3, it was not long after we moved house, and he used to hate going to sleep because he said that he never knew how to get home. Right? So you'd be like, Mummy, I just shout your name all the time and you never answer me. And I know the street at the bottom, but I don't know how to get up to the house. I don't know how to get home. So he used to get himself in such a state every single night, saying that when he goes to sleep in his dreams, he can't find the house. He can't find me and Daddy. He's so scared. And we had a spiritualist in the pod a couple of years ago, and he said what you need to do, it's called astral projection. And when he's sleeping, he can fully control his dreams. What you need to do is get something that he's really familiar with, like a toy or an ornament, and just show him it before he goes to sleep and just say, like the elephant teddy, just go and try and find that when you're sleeping. And the first night I did it, it stopped. It was the weirdest thing.
It's so weird. It's so weird. See, this is what makes me believe it, is like the shared experience. Have you seen that thing where it's like, does anyone remember floating down the stairs?
Yeah,
and so many people are like,
I remember doing that.
no, I don't.
I remember jumping down the stairs. I remember jumping from the tops at my nana's house when I was younger. And I actually need to ask my brother, because Lauren's married to my brother. That's like the connection here. So I need to ask Chris and see if he remembers. I remember going to my nana's house and going from the top landing, and I mean, I'm talking it's like 15 steps, and jumping from the top to the bottom and surviving.
So what's the floating thing? Is that
See, the
it?
floating downstairs thing, I think that's people when they're younger being lifted up to bed and they've not connected the dots properly.
Oh,
You know, if your
maybe.
parents are lifting you, so you don't really remember you're being lifted, so you're floating upstairs. The jumping off the stairs thing was a game, and I remember doing it top to bottom.
Yeah, I lived in a bungalow, so I never experienced this childhood bit of fun.
That makes perfect sense now, actually.
No brothers or sisters for me
I
either.
know, Sarah, you could have given Lauren a few of your brothers and sisters because she's an only child.
I'm so glad you can't tell.
That's
No, I'm
weird.
so freaked out by all this.
It is. I feel like the more stories that I read, actually, funnily, like the less scared I get.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
desensitized to it.
Because they survived.
Oh yeah,
Do
true.
you know what? It's like if you have a deadly virus and you're not hearing about it, it's because people are dead from it. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you're hearing about it, oh, you lived.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, stories, but like you live to tell the tale.
So do you
Oh,
find that
man.
you're just not really getting like creeped out anymore with any of this kind of stuff? Do you find you're just more interested in it now?
Yeah, definitely more interested in it, and the fact that people are so openly telling you, it's like, oh, I kind of wish I was there actually to see it.
Yeah.
Like more just intrigued now. I'm like, now I know that you didn't die from it, like no one hurt you, so it's like, oh, I want to know more. Like I wish I wish I could see that.
Yeah.
I just hope these stories keep coming because
I
the bigger they're
know.
getting, the more popular you're becoming. I mean, how many followers on TikTok now? Like over 1 million.
Yeah.
That's mad. I remember following you when you had like 30,000 and it was like you and your son were making like you're making videos together. Yeah, and it was like he wanted to be like a film producer and you were in the story and yeah. And now look at it.
Acting phase now. He's just starting all his like stagecoach stuff. So now we've like moved on. He's like, okay, I've done behind the scenes now. I want to be in front of the camera. I'm like, okay, cool.
So his confidence has grown then, because I remember at the beginning you were saying he was a bit more shy and stuff like that. So that's amazing. But now like 1.2 million TikTok followers, it's just crazy.
That's incredible.
It's honestly so good. We just love the content. Like we say, as soon as we hear, I've got another story about Epping Forest, we're like hooked, ready.
Tell us more.
Even there when you were telling stories, I feel like I zoned out and forgot that we are here. I just felt like I was watching my phone, like watching the story on TikTok.
Just hold the screen like that. Can I just quickly ask Sarah, see you were saying that your friend is a witch. What's her take on it all?
Her take is kind of that there's I mean, there's so much to it. Like, where would you start? It's like reading the Bible. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different versions and different interpretations of it. But she's very much like, you have to remember, like, you are Earth side, so you are way more powerful than them. Like, they only have power if you give it to them. So whether you are somebody that is like a logical thinker or whether you are more spiritual, that is such a true statement. So your mind is so powerful, like it can make you see things that aren't really there. So whether you're someone who does believe in it or doesn't, whatever you think is true will be the reality of it. You know, like, so she just says, you know, you're more powerful than it. So at the end of the day, if you go into a room and there is a spirit there, or like you think there's a spirit there, or you're like your child, for me, with like my child telling me that there was somebody dressing as me coming into his room pretending to be me, it was like, you need to leave now. I'm his mum, you need to leave, whatever. And he was there when I was doing it. So whether it worked or whether just psychologically I don't know, but it did work, like, because everything stopped. And now, like, when we hear like our little noises, we're like, oh well, you know, you can do your thing, we're not bothering her.
That is like a universal thing that people say, that if you tell it to leave and it's not welcome, it goes. So there must be truth in that. There's too many people that say that for it not to be real.
Yes, and like, even if it's not real and it's a psychological thing that you're telling the spirit to leave, and that makes you feel powerful, and then that gets it to leave, or, you know, psychologically you feel like empowered by it, either way it works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whether it's like the reality or not the reality, it's like everything's on your own perception. So yeah, like it does work. God, I could actually sit here all day. Could you?
I know.
All day.
I just find you're, first of all, such a great storyteller. You've got good stories to tell, and I could chew the ears off you all day and listen to your stories all day long.
Thank you very much.
This has been amazing. I've loved
So
it.
good. Yeah, I'm absolutely hooked. If there's any other stories that you think that we'd be interested in, please let us know.
Yeah, and thanks so much for coming on and chatting to us.
No, thank you.
Thanks for having me. Enjoy the rest of your ladies. It was lovely meeting you.
Oh, you too.
And all the success. I want you to have your own show. I want you to be Yvette Fielding, and I want to see you in Night Vision with the big eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I used to love that growing up. That was, they went to Epping Forest, actually.
You need to do this.
Oh, go back.
Get ITV on the phone right now and get it done, because I would be the first watcher.
Just take a flare gun in case we lose you in that 12-mile radius of forest.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mrs.
So
We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Right, I could have spoken to Sarah all day long.
Easy. Oh, that was so interesting.
So interesting. I love the fact that we got an exclusive with the house thing, because she's never told that story until right now.
To be fair, couldn't talk all day long, could listen to her all day long.
You forget to speak.
Like this.
You forget to speak because you're just so, like, you're just waiting for more information.
Yeah.
And she's so gorgeous, so you're entranced.
Yeah.
I
It's
could
a
listen
perfect
to her
combo.
all day long.
Easy peasy. But
Go and follow her if you're not already. I'm sure you are. There's 1.2 million people following her. But if you haven't already seen her on TikTok and on Instagram, she's I'm the problem. I am the
I wish we'd
problem.
asked her why she called herself that.
I know.
Why are you the problem, Sarah?
She's definitely not the problem.
She's not. She's the problem. I'm probably on TikTok too much.
That's actually very true.
That's the story for another day. Anyway, So are we doing this once a week?
Yeah, let's do potluck.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Right,
So
so
whenever we feel
I
it,
really
week,
hope
was it
this
you?
is.
I picked it. Yeah.
Right, Ash.
Am I getting to pick?
I'm actually
I never get to pick.
nervous.
Sorry, this is amazing. See, when you were at school and it'd be like, I need a volunteer to come and pick something out the jar or whatever you were doing. It would never be me.
Right, and what are we hoping for here?
I'm getting to pick.
What
I
are we
know
hoping
there was
for?
I
Does
know there was
anyone
a
have-
chance of 2.
I'm hoping for tattoo.
Oh, we've already had a
We've done that.
tattoo.
We
I
came
feel like
to
we're
the conclusion there was a lot that I wanted.
Literally, Ailey was showing Lauren all the not that long. Look, it's awkward. Let's go this way. Yeah, please go.
Skydive.
Did we put skydive?
I don't remember what's
Well,
in
you're not
there.
going to check this, so I'm just going to.
Also, guys, remember that you can tell us if you want to add in a suggestion to put in potluck. Oh shit, Ash!
Oh,
what is
what is
it?
This one is good.
What is it?
I don't want to do it.
What is it?
That's why I do it.
What is it?
Can we pick another one?
Let me see.
What
what
is
is it?
It sounds cute the way that it's been written, but it's in reality will not be that.
What
What
is it?
Camp under the stars.
Oh, after we've just been telling fucking ghost stories.
Who the fuck put that Shannon in there? That was you.
Is that you?
I put that one in.
I don't even have a tent. Where are we camping under the stars?
It's fucking January. There's no
Is it-
stars.
maybe we throw it back in and we go camping in the summer.
Can we do that?
I can camp in the summer.
Give me
Do you know
another
what, guys? We can do
because
whatever we want. Roll that one back up.
We make the rules.
Give me that.
Go and complain to Ofcom if you want.
I'm not doing that one.
Complain to HR. I'm HR.
For God's sake. That'd be a good one. I'm going to be raging.
If she picks that in our shiter, but what is it? Is it fucking baked cookies?
Is this going to be empty?
Oh,
What?
pick another piercing for each other. Brackets. No clit allowed.
That's just to cover you. That was HR that wrote that bit. No clits allowed.
No clit.
Ailey's getting me big nips.
No, I'm funny. Right, okay, go. Who's picking for who? Lauren, you're
Nipples.
picking for Ailey.
Nipples.
No, don't get her to me. You can pick for Ash.
No, you're picking for Ailey.
You can pierce anywhere in my ears. I've got loads of space because I took them all out.
I'll pierce the hush puppy ears.
Pick hers.
Nobody's piercing my nipple.
The best part is we have to prove
big.
it. Social clip.
You can put me flower in the front of it.
An emoji.
That's quite a scary one after we've just done the tattoo.
Emoji. Can you please do the one that is like that? What are you picking for
Stop.
me?
I don't know.
Pick one.
We need to do it right now.
Right now.
By the way, I actually almost did book a piercing for Saturday there.
Just pick mine.
No, because I don't want. Right, see if I pick. Oh, Ash, why don't you get here piercing your ear, and then Lauren fucking picks the most bizarre one for me.
How am I picking a bizarre one? Can we give it a few weeks? Because I just changed my
I
earrings
noticed
the
that's a
other
bit
day.
red.
That one.
I was thinking you need to get a wee bit of Claire's accessory spray on that.
Done it
Did
last
Right, I'm
night.
picking yours just now, Lauren. I want you to get. Oh my
I would suggest here for you,
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
but then that is quite a bold one.
It's quite bold.
But then
For anyone
I think you would
listening,
do
this is the under the lip piercing, which
Is that not
called
elaborate?
labret. What do you call that? Under your lip.
I can still feel my Medusa one, but
No, I wouldn't get that one again. I think it looks a
Loved
bit
that
like
one.
a spot.
I loved
Whereas
it.
the one under the lip, I think is quite cool. I actually miss having mine under my lip, to be honest. But
You
I'm
want
not
it?
getting it. No,
Do you want it? Because I
Nope.
can do it.
nope.
got
I'm not
the power.
getting no facials. Do not say eyebrow.
Oh no.
Do not, because I think as soon as you get an eyebrow piercing, you look like you want to box everyone.
Yeah, I could see
It's
that.
basically you may as well draw angry eyebrows on. Not getting an eyebrow piercing and not a dermal.
No, not a dermal because they just fall out, don't they?
Or
And
it's-
rip your skin off.
Sorry if you have one, but they make me they always look infected. I've never seen one that looks fine. Go, what am I getting?
Let me see yours.
There's
Right, I'm gonna go for a rook on the right.
A rook on
Rook
the right.
on the right.
A wee rook on the right. On the right. Okay, I'm getting a rook on the right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, great. You want ears, don't you? I would just go in ears.
Just go ears, yeah, because I don't want any facials.
You're getting a conch.
Right in the conch.
I've got conch.
I'll be getting the other side. Okay. And
You
you're
can pick one.
getting
You've basically got. I've had.
Let me see.
I could go anywhere.
Helix.
You've not got a tragus, do you?
I've had one before, but I just take them out because I like to sleep on my side and I don't let them heal.
Get a tragus.
Why you get a wee tragus, a wee hoop?
Go on then.
Oh, we hoop.
I vote
Okay.
tomorrow.
Okay, vote tomorrow. Okay.
Let's do tomorrow.
Let's do it tomorrow. So I'm getting a
Rook on the right.
and you're getting a conch,
Conch.
and you're getting a tragus.
Okay.
Yay! Love that. And
Exciting.
then we'll go and camp under the stars.
Ailey, that was a shit one, by the way.
Guys, we're still going to have to do that. It's
We
legally
will have
binding.
to do it. It's
We're
literally part
we're
of
going
it.
camping, but we're just going to have to do it in the summer.
We'll just do it in the summer. What is
Also,
it?
guys, remember you can go and download NutriCheck because it is still on offer.
Yes.
It might not be on offer by the time this goes out.
It is.
So
It's still
just,
the 2nd of February.
is it right? Okay, it's
Here we
still on
go.
offer. So go and click the link below and go and also join our Patreon chat. It's called Hot Girl / Guy Habits, and everyone is sharing recipes, books, tips.
I'm going to share a lunch recipe, so that'll be available for you. And
Mine's
you're going to do a
already
dinner.
there.
I'm going to share a
and
dinner.
you've done a brunch.
I done it my brunch, by the way. Oh my god, it's
Delicious.
feta eggs. I'm telling you right now, it is quite literally the nicest lunch that I've made for me and Fraser in a long time.
All right, well, me and Ailey haven't tried it, so on that note,
You don't live with me.
we
can.
We can if we
Invite
need to.
Guys, I love when you say this because it makes me feel like you're a wee bit annoyed, but you're also giving me a compliment.
You also love the chase. You love the chase.
does.
Just invite us.
They want me to be a chef. They want me to be a chef.
Ash, is that with POV horror movies these days, and it's like the girl and she's pure twerking or like unzipping her as the person's chasing her, and she's like, "Oh,
Oh my god, he picked me.
Yeah.
All the people there could murder.
it's me." Okay, love
Right,
ya.
love you, bye.
Bye.